Testing. 1, 2. Seem to be having a difficulty here. Check. Testing. 1, 2. Checking the mic. Popcorn. Popped corn. Testing. 1, 2. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. Can you hear me? Okay. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Henry's Kitchen. Where today we're going to be teaching you how to make Henry's stovetop popped corn. Popcorn, or also called popped corn or pops corn, is a variety of corn kernel which expands and puffs up when heated. The same names also refer to the food stuff produced by this expansion. A popcorn kernel strong hull contains the seed's hard, starchy shell endosperm with 14 to 20% moisture, which in turn turns to steam as the kernel is heated. Pressure from the steam continues to build until the hull ruptures, allowing the kernel to forcefully expand up to 20 to 50 times the original volume. Sorry, there's a lot of science here, but the general basic idea of popcorn is you're taking a corn kernel and you're popping it into something which is a whole different kind of food. Some strains of corn, taxonomized as Zea mays, are cultivated specifically as popping corns. The Zea mays variety, Everta, a special kind of flint corn, is the most common. So let's get started. Popcorn is something that you can make for just about any occasion. It's got very, very low nutritional value. So for that reason, it's a good junk food kind of snack to have while you're watching TV or something. In my case, I'm happy to announce that later on this evening, I'm going to be having a little bit of a date with a person who's somebody special, and I'm very excited. I figured what I would do is I would make popcorn, and since we are in the middle of COVID, I'm going to separate it into one bag for her and then one bag for me, and that way we don't have to touch each other's bags on our dates, on our date. But it's very exciting. But even if you're just making popcorn for yourself at home, or maybe Memorial Day. A couple of questions. Is this the sushi date woman? No, unfortunately, she doesn't really talk to me anymore. But that's okay. This is a totally different person, and but it's a little personal, so I don't want to get too into it. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and start popping some corn. So what we've got here, let's see here. I need to plug in my griddle. The griddle is, of course, acting in this case as a hot plate. I love this griddle. Once I found out that it was not only something that you could make pancakes on, but also something that you could use as a hot plate, I was pretty stoked about that. But let's take a look at our directions here. We're going to start by heating 3 tablespoons of olive oil on a large pot. The ingredients you're going to be using for this are going to be 3 tablespoons of olive oil, popcorn kernels, and butter and salt, along with a pot and some kind of heating mechanism, in this case a griddle. So I'm going to start with our 3 tablespoons of olive oil. If you're just joining us right now, we're making popped corn. One. Somebody asked if you could use sugar instead of salt. I've never really heard of a kind of popped corn where they're using sweet instead of savory. I suppose it could be done. I generally like to stick to the traditions when it comes to cooking. But if you feel confident about your skills, that you feel like you can be a little bit of an innovator, go ahead and try something sweet. Somebody mentioned caramel corn, but even that's salted caramel in most cases. Somebody mentioned kettle corn, but I think that's just regular popped corn, but made on a kettle. Okay, so we're heating this up, and I'm going to show you a little trick. It's called the canary kernel. I've got our kernels here. The ones that I'm using are white popcorn, and it's got some writing on there. Perfect for popcorn poppers, stovetops, campfires, or the microwave. Make popcorn your own way. I want to address something for a second here. While we're waiting for our olive oil to heat up here, a lot of people in the younger generation think that popcorn is a kind of food that magically comes out of a bag and you put it in a microwave and it turns into popcorn. That's not the case at all. Traditionally speaking, and forgive me, but I'm going to go into a little bit of the history here. Corn was domesticated about 10,000 years ago in what is now considered Mexico. Archaeologists discovered that people were seen eating popcorn for thousands of years. Fossil evidence from Peru suggests that popcorn was popped as early as 4700 BC. That's a very long time ago. I believe that's called the Neolithic era. So for some of you kids out there that think that it's only something that came around with the microwave, you're wrong. It goes back 4,700 years plus 2022. So whatever that math would be, it'd be something like that. Also, popcorn is included in the list of foods that the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends not serving to children under 4 because of the risk of choking. So if anybody out there is under 4, or if you're supervising somebody under 4, don't let them eat this. There's also something called popcorn lung. That sounds terrible. It's causing respiratory illness in microwave popcorn factory workers. Major manufacturers in the United States stopped using chemicals. It's called popcorn lung, or sometimes it's called Jolly Time lung, or Orville Redenbacher's lung disease. So, but we don't have to worry about that because we're not using any chemicals. This is literally just about as organic as you can get. We've got some kernels and some olive oil, and it looks like our olive oil is getting hot here. So I'm going to show you the trick with the canary kernel. I'm going to take about 2 kernels from our kernels, maybe 3, and I'm going to put them in our olive oil. And once one of these guys pops, we're going to know that our oil is hot enough for the rest of our popcorn. It's the reason it's termed canary kernels is that it's there's a historic tradition in coal mines of putting a canary in there to see if it dies, and if it does, then you know it's safe to go in. But this is taking a little bit of time here, so there's an old expression: talking to you is like watching kernels pop, which I guess is an insult if you're talking to somebody boring. They also say it's like watching paint dry. But hopefully this is going to get going here pretty soon. And when it does, it'll be very exciting. In the meantime, we can check in on the roast beef cam. A couple of people talking about whether or not the canary means it's safe. Wait, so if you put the canary in the coal mine and it dies, that means that it breathed something that was toxic or bad for its lungs or whatever, so it died. So that means that whatever that toxic thing was used up on the canary, and now it's okay to enter. That's the way I always understood it. I'm not a coal miner. I know some songs about coal mining, which I might be able to do a little later, but I'm not really 100% sure on that. Again, guys, my expertise is in the kitchen and not necessarily in coal mining. Someone asked how roast beef got his name. Roast beef was originally named after a baseball player named Lloyd Mosby, but my friend who had a little bit of a speech impediment sounded like he was saying roast beef when he called him, and I thought, well, roast beef is actually a better name for a cat, so that's his stage name. Legally, though, on his birth certificate, it does say Lloyd Mosby. Let's see how we're doing here. This is a little uncomfortable. I don't seem to be getting any popping going on here. I'm hoping that changes soon. It could be because the griddle is not hot enough. Yeah, the unit is on, and it's on full blast. So let's just sort of keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, I'm certainly able to answer some questions if anybody has any. Someone asked if I'm getting older with every day passing. Yes, time is inexorable. There's no way to escape it, and the inexorable march of time causes something called entropy, which is when energy converts from a useful source to an unuseful source, and that's what you're seeing when you see people age. And I age probably at a faster rate because I am constantly under a lot of stress in the kitchen and other parts of my life. Somebody asked, life in LA overall is pretty good. Somebody has said that I look like Greg Kinnear. I think I remember getting that when I was a lot younger. But in terms of the painting behind me, I did not paint that. I actually thought that was a painting that would probably beautify my kitchen a little bit, and I saw it at the Goodwill when I was looking for hot plates, and I think it was a good buy. Speaking of good buy, I don't know what's going on with our kernels, guys. I don't know if they sold me a kind of kernel that doesn't work very well, but we're going to leave it on, and we're hoping that here, I'm going to put a couple more canary ones on there. Maybe I need some more olive oil. Sometimes a lot of what you're doing in the kitchen is really just improvising. It could also be that olive oil has a higher melting temperature. But, okay, so we're going to leave that going there. You have another question? There's questions about oil being already melted. I think that oil is always in a melted state, but you would really have to ask an astrophysicist if you wanted to get the correct answer on that one. Okay, uh-oh. Something's happening here. I think I heard some activity. Someone asked how old roast beef is. He's very old. The theory is that he's about 16, but no one really knows for sure. Maybe 16 or 17 years old. Boy, I am sorry. This does not seem to be wanting to melt. I do have a stove behind me, but I don't have the ability to get the camera on there. I do see some bubbling happening, so I'm hoping that at some point, at this point, I'm going to blame the popcorn kernels themselves, because I know this is very hot. Some people think that this is hair. No, that's just there's a couple of little scratches on there. You know what? Why don't we, while we're waiting for that, let's go ahead and sing a song. I'm gonna get my guitar. Maybe if anybody out there is having a birthday, we could do this song for you. It's nobody's birthday, no need for candles on the cake. It's nobody's birthday, it was just a big mistake. It's nobody's birthday, no need to uncork the wine, 'cause it's nobody's birthday but mine. It's nobody's birthday, no tail on the donkey for me. There's no reason to celebrate being alive when your dreams get swept away. It's nobody's birthday, nobody's birthday this time. No, it's nobody's birthday but mine. I was actually hired to sing this song for a birthday party. And it wasn't really accepted very well, I think because it's sort of more of a sad song, and a lot of times birthdays are considered more happy occasions. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and jump into damage control mode right now. I didn't want to do this, but I have a stove behind me, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on the stove. And you'll be able to see it. I'm hoping that that's going to get those kernels popping much, much faster. I might be able to use this other camera. For those of us just joining, we're trying to pop corn. Uh-oh. Okay, yeah, that worked actually. So it's definitely hot enough at this point. I'm going to go ahead and put our actual kernels in there. So what I'll be using here is 2/3 of a cup. And of course I only have quarter cups here, but I'm going to be doing first. Hold on, Alexa. How do you do 2/3 of a cup with quarter cups?
According to an Alexa Answers contributor, just use math. 2/3 times 2 is 4/3, which is 1 1/3. Doubling 2/3 of a cup is 1 1/3 cup. Did that answer your question?
No. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Thanks for your feedback.
I'm going to put 2 1/4 cups in there, and we're going to hope that that's about right. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, let's start popping some corn here. We're already getting some pops. Oh shit. Okay, hold on. This lid's too small. I forgot to say that you have to cover the pot. This is a little bit of a mess here. Not sure if you can see or not, but there's popcorn on the floor. But the cover worked out very nicely. I think I might have alarmed roast beef. You also want to shake it up so it doesn't burn on the bottom. As a matter of fact, I'm going to grab a wooden spoon. Oh yeah, now this is pretty much done at this point. That popped really fast once we put it on an actual surface. So let's get back here. I'm a little worried about this camera situation. Yeah, okay, so we still have a very hot situation with our popped corn. If you're just joining me, we're making popped corn. We went over a little bit of the science and the history behind it, and now we're trying to make it. And what we found is that the griddle, as awesome as this griddle is, it didn't quite do the trick because it just didn't get hot enough. But then as soon as we put it on a legit stove, it started popping like crazy. So let's see what we have. Okay, yeah, so this is popcorn, guys. This is very popped and ready to go. Somebody asked about how popcorn actually pops, and I'm just going to run through the science here a little bit. A popcorn kernel's strong hull contains the seed's hard, starchy shell endosperm with 14 to 20% moisture, which turns to steam as the kernel is heated. Pressure from the steam continues to build until the hull ruptures, allowing the kernel to forcefully expand, or something like that. So I just want to make sure, is everybody able to hear me okay? No? Okay. Let's see. Okay. We're going to let our popcorn cool just a little bit there. And meantime, I'm going to look and see if anybody has any questions or anything like that. Certainly feel free to go ahead and ask that. Okay. Okay. Okay, so all right, so we've got our popcorn here. What we're going to be doing now is we're going to be putting them into bags. By the way, I just want to take a quick moment. Somebody asked me to see what it tasted like here. You know, I mean, it tastes pretty much like the kind of popcorn that you would get if you were at the movie theater. Someone asked if you can pop other vegetables. I would imagine just about any vegetable can be popped. Let's see here. I want to make sure that my phone is on in case I get a phone call. Let's see here. The next thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking our popcorn and we're going to be putting them into little bags. Again, I'm on a date tonight, so I want to make sure that we're COVID safe. And if I put a popcorn in there for me and then one for her, that way I don't have to worry about either of us touching each other's bags while we're on a date in light of the COVID situation. So let's go ahead and I've got a phone call here. Everybody just hold on real quick here. Hello? Oh, hold on one real quick. Are you there? Oh yeah, I'm doing my stream right now. I was actually making popcorn that we could have tonight while we're watching our movie. And I'm putting them into special bags so that there'll be one for you and one for me, which I thought was like maybe, COVID safe. Oh no. Oh no, really? Oh, that's disappointing, yeah, because I've made a lot of popcorn here, and I was really looking forward to it. Are you sure? I mean, I know that cats can get COVID, but I didn't know that it was very common. I don't mind if you want to bring the cat here. Maybe you could bring the cat here, and then you can meet roast beef. Okay, well, I'm very sorry that happened. I'm going to continue to go ahead and finish teaching my lesson here, but maybe we could do it another time. Okay, thank you. Very disappointing. Okay, bye. Well, I have some not so great news to share. It looks like my date got canceled for tonight. Apparently her cat is sick or something like that, and I'm very disappointed. But I think that when you're when you confront something that's negative that happens in your life, the best thing to do is to turn it into a positive and cook. There's an old saying, when God hands you lemons, you make lemonade. And I guess that in this case, God has handed me an awful situation, and I'm turning it into popcorn. Somebody said double the popcorn for me, and that's a great way to look at it. That's very positive. You know what? Let's go ahead and start putting these into bags, and maybe if we're able to arrange the date for a later time, I can save her bag. But here we go. Popcorn is one of those things that you can also store for long periods of time. Oh, sorry, I'm a little confused here. I'm going to add some of our seasoning here, which in this case is just going to be some salt and pepper. You definitely want to put salt in there. But you want to be careful not to do too much, because high sodium and high blood pressure do go hand in hand, and if you eat too much of it, you will get a heart attack. Also, a little bit of butter in here would be nice. Yeah, I'm going to use Alexa, how much is half of 1/4 of butter?
Half of 1/4 is 0.125.
Okay, here. I'm gonna melt the butter on the griddle itself. This wasn't very well thought out here. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put the butter into the popcorn itself. And hold on a second. Somebody asked about putting in some stoked paprika. I think that's a great idea, and I've got it right here. This is going to add a little bit of a pizzazz to it, a little bit of a zing, if you will. Okay, so we've got our butter, we've got our seasonings, and we have a lot of popcorn on the floor, unfortunately, but we can clean that up afterward. I think it's time to start putting these into bags. If you're just joining us right now, what we're doing is we're popping corn kernels. On a failed attempt happened on the griddle, but when we put it on the stove, that seemed to work right away. The lid didn't fit correctly, so I used a better lid. Now I'm taking the popped corn kernels, and also I was stood up by my date. But the popcorn is being put into a bag now to be stored for a later date. So that's one. And we could call that the his popcorn bag. And then here we're going to do the hers. And then there'll probably be even more popcorn left over at some point. You can, if you have leftover popcorn and you don't want to waste it, you can always use it to water your plants. Okay. If you're making this at home, I'd love to see how yours turned out. But somebody asked if I needed a freezer bag. I'm not quite sure. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned that you can use it as packing material. I've seen that. Let's go ahead and label this his popcorn. And we can call this one hers, and this will be used at a later date if in case we are able to reschedule our dating situation. Okay, so I have here 2 bags of popcorn. A lot of things went wrong today. Probably the most important being that I was canceled on for my date that I was very excited about, and I had a lot of plans that I had put aside. I was gonna I was going to do more cooking and maybe watch TV with my cat, but we're going to hopefully be able to reschedule that. But in the meantime, I've got his and hers popcorn that will always be there for when I'm ready to reschedule that date. And it's a very simple process, really. And some nice people offering to be my date. That's very kind of you, and I know that you're doing that out of the goodness of your heart. But it doesn't help the heart pain. That's a good excuse to go in and say some thank yous to some wonderful people that always help with this stream. I want to thank the moderators: Fawcan, Dingo Bop, Dom Beef, Hottest Bear, Do Dingle, Dagoggy, Dr. Flanges, and some other people who have offered: Daisy Blossom, Bacchus, Melon95, Pilskman, and some of the people that helped me get started, Nim, Bumblevision, the LGX, and my old pal Bill Larkin. And also I want to thank Forsen, who I've never met, but does continue to send people over to the Henry's Kitchen live streams, and I appreciate that. But most of all, I appreciate you, the people. There's a lot of things that didn't go right today, and there might be a lot of things that don't go right in general for your life. It's just something that happens. Somebody mentioned Chills. Okay. Yeah, shout out to Chills as well. And I guess if I had to encapsulate this whole session in one tight catchphrase, I would say that sometimes life doesn't even seem worth waking up in the morning. But once you get up, take a shower, and start cooking, you'll find that even though it is miserable, you can get through it all the way to the end. So hopefully those are some words that'll help you to make it through the night, for lack of a better term. And maybe that's a good segue into doing one last song for you here. It's a little song I like to call Help Me Make It Through the Night. Help me make it through the night, 'cause I am tired and alone. Help me make it through the night, I don't like myself anymore. I guess I'm just not interesting. I have no personality. People tune out when I'm talking to them. They don't really like me, and I'm always coming in last place and getting food kicked in my face, and I guess that's just the way it's meant to be. Help me make it through the night, 'cause there's nothing out there for me. Well, nothing out there for me except for cooking, which changed my life, and I hope it changes yours if you're out there and feeling bummed out because whatever bad thing happened. Maybe you have a lid for your pot that doesn't fit, or maybe you forgot to turn the griddle on to high or whatever. Just know that right around the corner there's beautiful popcorn, and I think we showed that today. I'm going to eat some of this popcorn, and I'll probably watch a show. If anybody has a recommendation for a show, I'd like to hear it. But in the meantime, as always, Stranger Things Season 4, I heard is great. I heard it's very much more hearkening back to the age of the horror film, and I like horror films. Somebody said Gilmore Girls. I've never heard of that, but maybe I'll check that out. Somebody said Sanford and Son. That sounds good. This popcorn is delicious. I think people are just naming basically every show, which is awesome. Brokeback Mountain. I didn't know. Is that a TV series? Lost sounds like an interesting show. I guess that's about a guy who's lost. Anyway, everybody, I want to say thank you as always for joining me. Chunks. Somebody said there's a show called Chunks. Maybe it's about beef stroganoff. But I want to thank everybody for joining me. And in all sincerity, if you're here in the U.S. and you're celebrating the 3-day weekend for Memorial Day, I hope you have a nice time. And if you're anywhere else, I hope you have a nice time too. Even if maybe you're in bed or maybe you're making popcorn and it's 3 in the morning wherever you are, that's all good too. So we're going to get through. I'm going to sit down with my cat and we're going to eat popcorn and watch maybe Gilmore Girls. So thank you very much as always, and enjoy the rest of your weekend.